I played Outer Wilds recently, and I think I liked it. So I decided to make a playthrough with totally unnecessary commentary. This video covers the majority of the story, puzzles, and events of the base game and DLC. It's a common sentiment among OW fans that it's a shame you can never re-experience it for the first time again. So if you think you'll ever play it in the future, leave this video. Totally don't watch it, or save it for later, or anything. Subscribe. We wake up on the planet of Hearth. And our friend Slate is here. We're a pilot, and we were camping before launch day. All systems go. We're ready to get off the ground, but not before we get the codes from Hornfels at the observatory. Our mission once we're in space? Well, it's up to us, I guess. Here we can see some pictures of Hearth from the orbiting satellite right there. Here we learn about ghost matter, an invisible gas that is deadly. But we can detect ghost matter with cameras. Eventually we make it to the museum where the observatory is. The Outer Wilds Ventures was founded by Hornfels, Gasson, Slate, and Feldspar. The Outer Wilds Ventures are Hearth's first and only space program, made to explore the farthest reaches of the solar system. We're the newest pilot, and we're going to get a special Nomai translating tool. Just recently, another Outer Wilds venturer, Gabbro, found this statue on Giant's Deep. The statue reveals details of the Nomai that the Hearthians never knew before, that they had fur, antlers, and a third eye. They predate us by thousands of years. It's unknown if they originated from this solar system or another, and we don't know how they went extinct. In the museum, there are some Nomai writings that mention building and calibrating a device on the Adelrock, Hearth's moon. Nomai technology has also been repurposed and used for Outer Wilds Ventures equipment, such as the Little Scout projectile, which can now be recalled with warp technology. There's also an exhibit about our sun. As the sun grows older, it fuses hydrogen into helium and starts to contract. The core gets hotter, causing the outer layers to expand, and the star becomes a red giant. The core burns hotter and hotter, fusing hydrogen to helium, then into heavier elements like iron. Eventually, the star collapses under its own gravity and explodes in a violent event called a supernova. There's a rock. This strange rock moves around when you don't look at it. And to the Hearthians, this is extremely creepy. There was somebody just playing tricks on us. Heading up to the observatory and... Hornfels. what are we gonna do when we're in space? We're gonna wing it. Just like Feldspar used to do. Alright, we've got our launch codes. Where to? Man. Well, statue stole our memory. Hate it when that happens. Before we head out, let's make sure we talk to some more people. Signal scopes are a piece of equipment we have. Using different frequencies, we can pick up different signals from across the solar system. This will help us find some of our friendly Outer Wilds venturers. We're gonna head to the Zero-G cave for some training real quick. We're gonna suit up. And we're gonna get some practice repairing an old ship. Alright, let's put in these launch codes. And there she is. An all-new, fitted with Nomai technology, is our ship with no name. We'll call it her. Let me know in the comments what you would name this ship for our playthrough. A gravity crystal keeps us in the cockpit. That's nice. And here's our ship log where we'll be putting all of our notes and findings onto our Pepe Silvia board. And Hal says that Gabbro went to Giant's Deep to learn more about the Nomai statue in the observatory. But we're just gonna wing it. Here's Esker. Esker is hanging out here at the lunar outpost, which was used more back when Hearthian ships were less sophisticated like yours and needed frequent repairs. Now Esker just sits here on the outpost in his twilight years, going many days without contact from ground control, or anyone really. So he spends a lot of his time using his signal scope to scout and spy on his fellow Hearthians. We learn that Esker heard something strange coming from Timberhearth, Feldspar's harmonica, who was thought to have been lost for years. Looks like we're getting multiple signals. Wait a minute. Oh. We got Rybeck, Gabbro, and Chert. We come across a large impact crater where we find one of Chert's recordings. Chert mentions that this crater was made from the ice that came from dark Bramble. The Bramble used to be a fifth ice planet in the solar system until it imploded due to expansive growth of an infectious seed. pieces of the former ice planet rocketed through the solar system and hit some planetary objects like the Addle Rock. Nearby, we find an ancient Nomai ruin. Their writings inside reveal that their clan came to this place after receiving a mysterious signal from what they call the Eye of the Universe, until the Eye's signal mysteriously stopped. The Nomai were able to take their recorded signal and make a device that could try to pinpoint the Eye's location. This Eye signal locator was built on the Addle Rock, but it was too weak to track the Eye. But it is able to track Brittle Hollow, Giant Steep, and the Sun, and what they all sound like. Brittle Hollow sounds like something ominous. Giant Steep sounds like gale winds. The so-called Eye of the Universe spins indefinitely. And the Sun sounds hot. We wake up in a familiar situation. Despite being caught in a supernova blast, we're alive. And no one knows anything but us. We must be in some sort of time loop situation. But since we remember everything about our previous first launch, we already have our launch codes, so let's have another first launch. Here we find a seed from Dark Bramble landed on Hearth, which is not good. Though we may not be able to fit in the seed, I think our little scout can. The seed seems to warp to another dimension entirely. And inside we find an anglerfish skeleton with what looks to be trees. This also creates a duplicate signal at the Dark Bramble. We're just gonna wing it. It's just like the seed on Hearth. It's much larger on the inside than outside. After the anglerfish incident, I've decided to go back home. These geysers are all over Hearth, so let's take a plunge. The Nomai writings tell a story of two Nomai trying to find the most suitable mining location on Timber Hearth without interfering with the native life of the planet. This native species is semi-aquatic, very hardy, has 4 eyes, and the Nomai enjoy watching them for hours out of fascination. It's us! And they confirmed that they came across the universe to this solar system. Already, 2 huge discoveries for Hearthian history with the Nomai translating tool. My bones. We've now unlocked a quantum fluctuation frequency to tune into. In the quiet shade, across old bark, in the ancient glade, it's always dark. And it looks like everything else in this grove moves without looking at it, just like that rock. Nearby are some notes written by Chert, where he notes that the same frequency coming from the rock in the grove is the same one as the quantum moon. Using the signal scope, we can see that there are multiple quantum shards across the solar system. Unfortunately, anytime we look away from the quantum moon, it goes away. I wonder what happens if we go to there. It's gone. I guess that makes sense. We also find another Nomai structure. In Mining Site 2B, there's the same starry-looking ore from the Zero-G cave. The Nomai were using it to build something called the Ash Twin project. The Ash Twin is one of the 2 planets making up the Hourglass Twins. The ore that was mined from Timber Hearth was used to create a protective shell for the Ash Twin project, which is inside the core of the planet. An Ash Twin projection stone. Mysterious figures looking down on us, surrounded by the protective shell mentioned in the ancient Nomai texts. This must be the Ash Twin project. So there's something going around the sun. I'm gonna land on it. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. At the tail end of the comet is a frozen Nomai shuttle. A recording nearby tells us that 3 Nomai were aboard this shuttle. One of them talks about that maybe they should have landed on the sun-facing side of the comet, so they wouldn't freeze. One Nomai stayed behind to keep the shuttle warm, Clary, while 2 other Nomai, Pi and Pokey, went to go investigate the surface. That's my ship. What the hell, man? We live here now, for about 15 more minutes. Pi and Pokey left behind some more recordings of their findings, that they're finding stronger energy readings the deeper they descend into the comet. We have to dodge multiple patches of ghost matter to follow their path, until we find a long-dead Nomai, their body riddled with ghost matter crystals. Descending deeper, another Nomai left a final recording. Pi and Pokey read the energy of something inside the Interloper's stone core, detecting unfathomable amounts of condensed exotic energy. They surmised that whatever's inside would almost certainly be fatal. The exotic matter was so profoundly unstable and pressurized that if the core ruptured, it would blanket the star system almost instantaneously. Pi made Pokey run away to warn the others on other planets as soon as Nomai possible, but it was too late. Based on this core looking very ruptured, that seems to be what happened to the Nomai. An entire, nomadic, spacefaring race made extinct in an instant. Despite their technological advancements and knowledge, even they couldn't be ready for the universe's natural disasters. And this must all be why ghost matter lingers to this day. Back to checking out Timber Hearth. There's a strange radio tower here. You're listening to Deep Space Radio. Well, it certainly is far. Coming in hot. Still coming in hot. Well, I guess this thing was providing a map for us, which we no longer have. Oh, it bit me. Let's see what Gabbro's up to. Orbiting Giants Deep is the wreckage of some structure that we see firing something off at the beginning of every loop. Inside are 3 different modules to enter. The control module, the launch module, and the probe tracking module, which appears to be missing. The launch module's damaged, but there seems to be a way inside. In the control module, we learn that this structure is called the Orbital Probe Cannon. Its sole purpose was to find the Eye of the Universe, somehow. The Nomai may have cranked the power settings up a little too high, but they actually never got to fire the cannon themselves. There was a problem with their power source, until today. Projection shows that the cannon would receive a command from the Ash Twin, then choose a random direction and fire. This is what happens at the beginning of every time loop. It failed successfully. Good. The results of the probe search would then be stored in the probe tracking module, which is unfortunately missing. Making a spacewalk, we can make our way into the launch module. We find some more information that they only need to fire the cannon one time, despite being a randomly chosen direction. Projecting with the probe tracking module stone, we can see it's in some dark, electricity-filled coral area. Very strange. The orbital probe cannon was built on Giant's Deep. There's quite a bit of ghost matter to dodge here. Investigating further, we find a recording by Feldspar. Feldspar claims that he conquered Giant's Deep, and his next target is Dark Bramble. I believe this music means we're about to die to a supernova, so let's try to explore as much as we can. This seems non-standard. I believe another island may have fell on this island. Gabbro! This is not intended behavior. The first solo launch is a doozy. Hey, don't freak out. Looks like we're finding more islands. This one has another Nomai structure similar to the one on Timber Hearth. The Nomai Cool S. Statue Workshop. It's locked. We find some Nomai children's notes this time. The adults were testing what they called memory statues, and even though the door is locked, there's another way inside. Somewhere. In the statue workshop, we learn that statues will only pair with someone if the Ash Twin project is successful or needs to be repaired. After recording memories or data, the memory statues then send that data to a corresponding mask within the Ash Twin project. These masks serve as memory storage units, and then the mask sends our memories back to us at the beginning of every loop. This is the construction yard for the orbital probe cannon. The Nomai built parts here, then lifted them into orbit with the planet's cyclones. One of the components, however, fell into the core of Giant's Deep, despite there being an undercurrent preventing objects from going any deeper. We actually haven't looked down below yet. Nope. Oh, hi, island. Let's get a better look underwater with the safety of our ship. Yep, that's definitely where the probe tracking module is, but there's a current preventing us from going any deeper. On Brittle Hollow, there's an experiment being done to see how something might fall below the current. We'll have to check that out. But first I want to find Gabbro. How do you stay so calm in the face of impending death? Deep breaths? No, seriously, I meditate. Want me to teach you? Sure, why not? Close your eyes. Damn, I opened my eyes. Gabbro! Okay, Gabbro was trying to teach us how to meditate. Close our eyes. Now we have a menu option to meditate until the next loop instead of dying. That's nice. Gabbro informs us that he's aware of the time loop too. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. He paired with a statue on Statue Island, or in his words became memory friends. Unfortunately, he has no idea what's going on either. He's also the author of the quantum poem that we found in the grove back on Hearth. It can be rearranged to 24 different poems. This is a quantum hurricane, man. Well, we may not be able to get through it. Be welcomed in this place. This tower shares with all who ask the knowledge needed to make his or her first quantum journey. we immediately see there's some quantum shenanigans going on here. This tower teaches us that observing a quantum object and observing an image of a quantum object are the same. Using our Scout's photo mode, we can manipulate quantum objects to staying there while we're not looking at them. This is known as the rule of quantum imaging. And we're advised to look for other quantum signals so we can begin our quantum pilgrimage. So we have a lead on how to get under the current of Giant's Deep, which is on Brittle Hollow. We might as well go there and find Ryback as well. As we approach Brittle Hollow, we see a bunch of rocks floating in orbit. Chunks of the... We're coming in hot. It's fine. We're fine. That's a black hole. Okay, here we are. Help. Our first catch of the day. Do you hear music? It's our boy Ryback. Ryback loves Nomai culture, history, and science. Ever since he was a hatchling, he's wanted to visit Brittle Hollow because of all the culture here. Only problem is that he's afraid of space. Ironic. He only got this deep into Brittle Hollow because he tripped down a hole and landed on a stable spot. If only we were so lucky. If we mention how the Nomai died, he gets sad, but he elucidates that we, the Hearthians, were lucky that we hadn't evolved to live on land yet. So I guess ghost matter can't go through water. Science! Speaking of science... Alright, so there's something through that black hole, but we found this. So now we've unlocked the distress beacon frequency. This is a Nomai escape pod, specifically escape pod 1 of 3. They also mentioned something called the Vessel, a Nomai ship that was mortally wounded. They found the surface of Brittle Hollow somewhat hospitable, but descended underground due to the destructive volcanic moon overhead. Down below, the Nomai recall all they knew about the signal that brought them to the star system. They determined that it was older than the universe itself, so they named it the Eye of the Universe. At the Tower of Quantum Knowledge, we learn more about taking our first quantum pilgrimage, whatever that means. We simply need to ascend these stairs and obtain the knowledge within. We learn that these quantum shards may be pieces of the quantum moon itself. Alright, I think we gotta get back to the ship and go to the quantum moon now. Oh. Gonna go get our ship back. This is the Nomai White Hole Station. Some notes from Pokey tell us that we can use this warp tower to return to Brittle Hollow in case we fell into a black hole. There are other warp towers as well, and they're all aligned with a corresponding astral body. So that's what these are. After warping through, the teleporter is charged and ready for a warp back, even if the planets are not aligned. Oh, too much warping. I'm gonna puke. There's a house near the Nomai warp pad that contains some interesting information. First off, they say they recreated warp travel. Apparently they're no strangers to warp technology, but they had to remake it. Some familiar names show up too. Pokey and Pi point out that Nomai are arriving at the warp receiver on Brittle Hollow slightly before departing from Whitehole Station, approximately 100,000th of a second sooner, which doesn't make sense and would violate causality. So they set up an experiment on the Ember Twin at the High Energy Lab to recreate the phenomenon. Here, they were testing the ore from Timber Hearth mines against extremely high temperatures. They found that the ore could provide a temporary supernova-proof shell for the Ash Twin project. Now we know that the ATP has something to do with the sun going nova. Some kind of hanging city. Let's see, there's a school, Meltwater, Eye Shrine, and Black Hole Forge. Let's go to school. Maybe we'll learn something. Kids here were taught about the Nomai Festival. Every 10 years, Nomai from across the universe met in one place to share art and scientific discoveries such as warp technology. But this Nomai clan was stuck. They lost all communication with other clans. Rather than building a new vessel, their new immediate objective was finding the eye of the universe. There are some school reports in the school district, one by a child named Solanum, writing about how the universe must have started out very dense and very hot, expanded, and the universe will one day die in a cold death. Speaking of cold death, let's head back to the surface. Ryback left a recording saying that there's probably a way inside from underground. Oh wow, I found it. Kobe. Okay, here we go. Slingshot. We haven't checked this out yet. The shuttle is currently resting at the Quantum Moon. Call shuttle home. Activate the gravity cannon. This Nomai shuttle was used by Solana. Hey, we just saw her old school report. She managed to land on the Quantum Moon. She landed at the South Pole because that's where the Quantum Moon always puts you, and made the rest of her journey on foot. Here's that thing. Let's chase it. So this is what the orbital probe cannon is shooting off. And, good. Don't mind me, just taking the Nomai way. Nomai highway. My way. Oh, my way. Alright, it's my way or the Nomai way. In the Southern Observatory, they were conducting tests on how the probe tracking module fell beneath the current of Giant's Deep. They found that most cyclones on the planet rotate clockwise and send things upward, but there's a rare second type of cyclone that rotates counterclockwise and pushes objects beneath the water. Upstairs, we find a projection of the solar system. And then when we turn on this eyeball, we get a much more advanced eye locator than we found back on the Addle Rock. They learned that the eye is within this solar system, albeit extremely far away. When trying to nail down the eye's exact location, it seemed to be always changing in every direction. Without an active signal from the eye, it seemed impossible to pinpoint. So they came up with a new plan. Though the eye signal was brief, they deciphered what the eye physically looked like. With this information, they decided to send a probe out into space to literally find it. Only problem is, they would have to choose a totally random direction and it would rely on dumb luck. However, a couple of Nomai from the tribe were working on a scientific breakthrough that might reduce the time it takes to find the eye this way. Here, in the Tower of Quantum Knowledge. The Quantum Moon visits 5 different planets, but there's a 6th location it goes to that we don't see. The third and final quantum rule of Fight Club is that to visit the 6th location, the shrine must be at the moon's north pole. The shrine is a Nomai-built structure that's meant to be used during a quantum pilgrimage. The Ash Twin project requires an advanced warp core. There was one on the vessel, but they gave up on it, saying that it's located in Dark Bramble and they don't want anything to do with that. But there is an anglerfish fossil on Emperor Twin that might give us an idea on how to get past them. Also, big news, the vessel's in Dark Bramble. Since they deemed the vessel's core not worth the risk, they decided to make a new one. Pokey volunteered to make it since she mentored under the original creator of their advanced warp core. Pokey and the crew of the Black Hole Forge got to working on it. Oh hi, Supernova. It looks like we have to warp up to the warp pad and walk on the ceiling. But we're already here, so maybe I can work something out. Do a flip. The Black Hole Forge created miniature black and white holes that power the warp pads on each planet. When we warp, the warp tower needs to be pointing at the center of the planetary body, not just pointing at the warp pad on that planet. In the case of the Hourglass Twins, which are made up of 2 planets, they share a planetary alignment point between them. It's here that Pokey finished building the advanced warp core and delivered it to the Ash Twin. The Eye Shrine district of the Hanging City was a place for Nomai to reflect on what brought them to the star system, the signal from the Eye. It's here that we find more scrawlings from Solanum. She believed back when she was a child that the Eye was malicious or didn't want to be found. Eventually, she came to terms with their circumstances and that the Eye might have called out to any sentient species, not just them. You know what? We're going quantum. Looking at a quantum object and looking at a photo of a quantum object are the same thing. We found Solanum's shuttle. We actually recalled this back on Brittle Hollow, so she landed here and never left. The trees and terrain here reflect the planet which it's orbiting, in this case Hearth. And everything seems to act quantum as well, especially this Nomai shrine. Inside, there's a light switch, outlines of the 3 quantum rules, and 6 locations. 5 planets and the eye of the universe. From Giant's Deep, we recall the rule of quantum imaging, which is how we landed here, the rule of quantum entanglement, which we haven't found, and the rule of the 6th location, meaning that this shrine has to be at the north pole of this moon to reach it. We might not know the rule of entanglement, but we might be able to figure this out. By turning the lights out and ceasing to observe the quantum moon, we have moved to the Hourglass Twins. It seems like the North Pole is blocked off by a massive wall, so we'll have to find another way. We're actually getting further north than we did at the Hourglass Twins. So let's spin around until we see the shrine again, and try going somewhere else. The 6th location. Looks like we're blocked by quantum cheese. Let's try Timber Hearth again now that we're further north. To reach the 6th location, the shrine must be at the North Pole. She might not be able to understand us, but we can at least read her writings. Solanum was on her quantum pilgrimage for the first time. The pilgrimage is a journey that all Nomai make when they come of age. At this moment, the quantum moon is orbiting the eye of the universe. It orbits other planets too, but this is the quantum moon's primary location. The environment reflects what the eye actually looks like, similar to how the moon reflects environments of other planets. But the eye cannot be reached from here. Their clan's greatest question was to find what would happen if a conscious observer found the eye, collapsed it to a single possibility, and entered it. There's a fundamental uncertainty throughout the universe. Normally, this uncertainty is only observable on a small quantum scale, but as one approaches the eye, that uncertainty grows enormously. The eye represents extreme changeability. She confirms that the eye is in orbit around our solar system. She's hopeful to see the eye someday, but she hypothesizes that she may not be entirely alive anymore. What likely happened is she was on her quantum pilgrimage the moment the ghost matter wiped out the Nomai, and each version of her at the other 5 locations died. She's only alive where the moon orbits the eye, out of reach of the ghost matter, and apparently the eye prevents death. Somehow. She must have been here for generations? Or not. She says it's her first time here. And though we don't have much in common, she still considers us a friend. The vessel's warp core broke when the ship crashed into the dark Bramble, one of 3 Nomai escape pods. This beacon is on Ember Twin, one of the two Hourglass Twins. The heat from the sun made the surface inhospitable, so they went beneath to survive. There's the anglerfish skeleton we heard about. Now we just gotta find our way in there. During every loop, sand from the Ash Twin pours onto the Ember Twin. The longer the loop goes, the more Ash Twin seems to be revealed, and the Ember Twin's subterranean system is filled up. We gotta move. We come to a massive cavernous settlement, the Sunless City. The Sun Station was built to power the Ash Twin project. Apparently, the Sun Station was also a subject of controversy among the Nomai. Was it going too far? Just like this sand is going too far. We found a shortcut. Is this the Dark Souls of Wilds games? We can see the warp towers on Ash Twin now. There are multiple towers with different designs. Let's figure out which one's which. So this is Giant's Deep, and it goes to Statue Island. Brittle Hollow's warp pad is the intended way to the Black Hole Forge. And this one has trees, so it's probably old timber home. Yep. These two towers must be the Hourglass Twins. We're gonna pass some time so the sands fall off of Ash Twin and we can get to the warp towers. Alright, we're gonna try the other Hourglass Twin tower now. We're back on the Ember Twin. Friend. Chert. Chert is another Outer Wilds venturer who's helping Hornfells update their star charts. But he knows something alarming. Stars in the distant skies are going supernova far sooner than they originally predicted, and he's starting to worry about our own sun. We already warped to the Ember Twin, so let's see what happens if we warp to the Ash Twin while on the Ash Twin. I don't like sand. Alright, let's check out another tower. This one has a scroll inside mentioning the Sun Station. Right, we'll get back to the corridor of cacti later. But first, let's check out more of the Sunless City. Eye Shrine. High Energy Lab. Stepping Stone. And Anglerfish Overlook. Given that sand is filling up quickly, let's check out the bottom area first. God, son of the eye. Here we find an experiment setup with some mini black and white holes. Plugging them in, we get a warp setup to test with. Remember, Pokey noticed people arriving at Brittle Hollow sooner than they departed from Whitehole Station, creating a negative time interval, which should be impossible. When you add more power to this setup though, that negative interval becomes more apparent. They theorized if they could make a 22-minute interval possible, to have something arrive 22 minutes before it's sent through the warp. 22 minutes just happens to be the time loop that we're in before the sun explodes. But they ran into a problem. They would need an exponentially high amount of energy to create this long of a negative time interval. And they would need a large space to house whatever this project would be. This is when they conceived the Ash Twin project. Warp towers were built to transport construction materials to the Ash Twin, and each tower visually reflects their destination. Alright, so let's see what happens if we shoot a scout, remove a black hole core, so we get 2 scouts. 281,042 years ago, the Sun Station entered sleep mode. I'm dead. I'm dead. Okay. Science compels us to explode the sun. The Nomai built the sun station to intentionally cause a supernova. Further we go into the station, we learn that they did fire the sun station, but it failed. This was supposed to be the power source of the Ash Twin project. A supernova worth of energy could create the 22-minute time interval that they aimed for, and this explains the need for a supernova-proof shell. Shortly after the disappointment of the sun station, they noticed a comet entering their solar system. This was one of their last projects before the ghost matter ruptured and wiped them out. So the Ash Twin project has been dormant for 281,000 years, until the sun died a natural death. So that's why we died the first time. The sun station's about to get absorbed by the expanding sun. Here, in the core of Ash Twin, they carved and crafted their most ambitious project, powerful enough to send information back in time in order to locate the eye of the universe. We find multiple masks, but only 3 are active. One for the probe tracking module's data, one for the museum statue paired to us, and the other one on the beach of Statue Island on Giant's Deep, linked to Gabbro. These masks were meant for the clan's most brilliant Nomai so they could remedy any problems in case of equipment failure. Here's how the whole thing works. The sun station fires and creates a supernova. Using that energy, the Ash Twin project sends an order back in time 22 minutes for the orbital probe cannon to pick a random direction and fire. Literal shots in the dark. Exactly 22 minutes after the probe launches and searches for the eye of the universe, they would trigger the sun station again, activate the ATP. They would send the probe's results back in time along with an order for the cannon to pick another direction and fire. In theory, this can be repeated indefinitely, and with infinite loops, they would eventually find the eye. Unfortunately for us, we can't stop the sun from going supernova. Unless we disable the Ash Twin project, we are stuck in this loop. Forever. there's more to explore here. There's mural to explore here. The Nomai wondered why they ended up inside the dark bramble when they followed the eye's signal. But of the 3 escape pods that launched, we found one on Brittle Hollow, one on Ember Twin, but the 3rd is still within the bramble. In this place, the Nomai experienced frequent anglerfish attacks. They had to leave their pod and follow the vessel's beacon, but there was a problem. There were 2 signals to follow. They only had enough air to reach one of the signals, so their choice was made for them. Unfortunately for them, the signal was coming through a bramble seed too small to fit through. This gruesome place seems to be able to manipulate space itself. These Nomai were left together without hope, and spent the rest of their time trying to comprehend how this all happened. With our scout, we can see the vessel, which appears to be just over this way. Right, about that anglerfish fossil. We learned that children used to play around this anglerfish fossil, and said that there's a way into the fossil's cave by going up from Stepping Stone Cave. A young Solanum writes us a tip: to feed the fish a lantern to light the way. One of the kids says that their Aunt Pie told them that real anglerfish are blind. Wow. We probably should have known that. Alright, what else? Oh, snap. Feldspar signal came from Bramble. Can't believe we just left him hanging. Assuming that is them playing the harmonica. The legend himself, alive and well. After exploring the core of Giant's Deep, Feldspar was making his way around this interdimensional place, where he encountered an anglerfish. The fish clipped his ship and he crashed into a hollow vine. He won't tell us how to get inside the core of Giant's Deep though, but he does recommend checking out the hollow vine that he crashed into. Feldspar's recording mentions that the jellyfish are useful, particularly because their outside insulates the jellyfish's insides from electricity. Counterclockwise cyclone. There. We're in. I am both honored and terrified. We've entered the probe tracking module, where the orbital probe stores its coordinates. The probe that we saw at the beginning of this loop was 9,318,092. This process has repeated millions of times. "38 loops ago, a deep space anomaly matching the eye of the universe was found." So at the very start of the game, that wasn't our first time waking up. It was the moment the eye was found by a probe, activating the statues to pair with the nearest people, us and Gabbro, enabling us to do something with this information. So we've unknowingly died to a supernova 9.3 million times. So what is there to do with all this information? The Ash Twin project maintains our time loop while powered by the advanced warp core. We can take the warp core, sneak past the anglerfish, power up the vessel, presumably, use the coordinates to go to the eye, and wait for this whole thing to blow over. What's with this radio tower? In the radio hut are multiple photos from the deep space satellite. Hornfels seems to think that something doesn't make sense with one of them. I think he may be talking about this one. Or this one. Gabbro. There seems to be an orbital body that doesn't match the archive records. there are 4 major points of interest: the River Lowlands, the Cinder Isles, the Hidden Gorge, and the Reservoir. Dang, this game's like the Matrix. Fishing up Neo with the claw machines. When the sun's about to go supernova, these green sails deploy and this craft starts moving away from the sun. In a cabin in the lowlands, we find an artifact. Cool. Must be important. Has a picture of it on the building. We also find a couple of slide reels in this town. We'll get some popcorn because it's movie night. But we're gonna need a movie light. When the Eye of the Universe sent out its signal, it was received in another solar system. On the moon of a gas giant, a race of owl elks were able to astral project through the signal and see the eye. Parts of some of the slide reels are burnt up. So the Owlkin built this starship and then came to our star system. Some sort of crypt is sealed and locked. You know, some buildings are old, but this one looks straight burnt. Oh, more lights for movies means... Ow. Oh hey. The Elks found the eye, and using some type of scepter, an elder read the future from it. And they saw that the eye would obliterate everything, including them. And they've been cloaked ever since. The other slide reel here is similar to the one from before, putting another lock on some sort of crypt. Back at the Hidden Gorge, there's a cliff pass with a flaming slide reel on it. Dang, another movie night. Alright, we got 3 locks to break, I guess. I don't know why I'm breaking and entering, but I am. After the Elks ended their quest for the Eye, they seriously missed their home moon. Maybe they couldn't get back for some reason. They took their artifacts into a room with green fire, fall asleep, and light their artifacts. Green fire, huh? The exterior of the ship, and there was an oopsie at the top left from the hangar. Got it. At the reservoir, there's a 5-digit code for a death laser. Ah, perfect. Hello, yes, I'll be using the death laser now. Well, guess I won't, because the controls seem to be burned. Whatever this was, they didn't want anyone making contact with it ever again. Oh my god, these Elks loved movies. And honestly, I vibe with that. That crypt from earlier seems to be some sort of coffin, which is put in a giant tank and lowered into the water. So this ship that we're in is moving further away from the sun. The Stranger. Top left of the hangar. Let's check it out. Going through this whole breach, there seem to be 3 experimental chambers with 3 different artifacts. So we take an artifact, go to a green fire, fall asleep, and this one didn't work. So this artifact is key to astral projecting or traveling somewhere. Movie. So with the first artifact, we know it doesn't work. The second artifact, it didn't end well for them, I would imagine. Alright, let's sleep at the fire, see what happens. We're in some sort of dark dream world now. We're also missing our suit, jetpack, and scout. Well, I don't know if we time traveled or astral projected, but we seem to be in some sort of subterranean lake with the crypt that we saw from all the projection reels. In the Cinder Isles Tower, there's a secret room with a fancy rug. This Elkin leaves and goes somewhere else. They take their artifact and fall asleep at a green fire. And somehow turns the lights off, revealing a secret passage to a place that may hold the key for opening this vault. Good morning. And there are 2 more codes that may cause a bridge to appear. If our fire goes out in the dark world, we get kicked out. The controls to this thing were also destroyed. Whatever they dunked in there, they really didn't want to get out. Movie night. Upstairs at the top of the tower, we can see that these 4 parts of the entire ring world are linked somehow. Electric wires run through each of them with antennae sticking out. Inside the huts with all the lanterns, they point at the painting with the planet in the sky. Removing the lantern reveals a secret passage in 3 of the 4 locations: the Lowlands, Cinder Isles, and the Hidden Gorge. Alright, let's test it at the Cinder Isles first. Someone's missing. Alright, let's sleep at the creepy green fire with all the corpses. It looks like we're back in the dark world, But this time, we're outside. In our ship log, this place is known as the Starlit Cove. But if it can't see us, then I guess it's fine. We find another burned down building dedicated to the Eye of the Universe. Along with the telescope that looks like the one used when they first found the eye. And a painting of the Eye of the Universe blooming as a flower from the skulls of the Elks, shedding galaxies like flower petals. Whoever lived here must have been fond of the eye. This is about the same time that the dam broke. The walkway to the center of the cove seems to be guarded by lights and a red bell. Well, I don't know if we can get there. Extinguishing candles can reveal certain passageways, and focusing our artifact through these totems can reveal new structures. Using this new structure attached to this tower, we find a secret entrance up into the tower. And then these two lights in this spot were turned off. So let's check if that worked. It worked. Aha! All the codes are ours to bear, especially the death laser. Wait, we already knew that. Unfortunately, all 3 codes of the seals have been burned as well. But this one, we've seen this. We'll save this code for later. Right now, let's go explore the Dark World some more. When we take the boat from the Starlit Cove, we end up in a large canyon. We can't get up, but it looks like there's an elevator that we can unlock later. Then we end up in the Dark World version of the River Lowlands, but here it's the Shrouded Woodlands. Oh, there's a door. No light? No. There's also the Dark World version of the reservoir. Looking inside, we can see is a place we've been to, with the elevator that leads underground. In this vision, we see the coffin-like object being brought into the Dark World. Oh boy. No. The whole tower fell over. Oh god. Oh, this is the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. So the Cinder Isles tower falls over right around the time there is a supernova. That is the sort of loop point for the stranger. We made it back. Let's check out the river lowlands. Or should I say the shrouded woodlands. So there's the closed door that leads to the boat pier, and up here is a chair. Using these totems, we can also extinguish lights, opening new doors for us. Somebody's over there. And they're going into a rock and roll spooky house. They came from behind. Nope. No. Friend? There's the dam breaking again. So when the dam breaks, the river lowlands get flooded, extinguishing not just our flame, but theirs too. Heading back to the Starlit Cove, we can take a boat back to the Shrouded Woodlands, now with the door opened for us. Going back to the place where we saw the elk scream and vanish into a green phantom, we can find a house with chests and music instruments. Heading back to the Hidden Gorge, we do have the code for this thing. Let's punch in the code. Down here, we find 3 different pictures, all with secret spots illuminated with a projector. We can go find each of these points outside in the Stranger. One is right next to the Cinder Isles on the right. One seems to be at a grate in the river lowlands. And this third one is in the hidden gorge on the left side of a tall building. And of course, no secret room is complete without a movie night. After dunking the coffin in the water, the Owl King collected all of the film reels and gathered them in piles. Scanned them, and burned them. Alright, let's look for one of these locations. On the left side of this building. Here we find one of the slide burning rooms. In this slide reel, we see the codes for the 3rd seal being handed off to another Alk. And then this one walks across an invisible bridge over the river, extinguishes the lights of this house, allowing this Alk to take the codes behind a painting. The Hidden Gorge's version of the Dark World is called the Endless Canyon. Also, why are we dressed like this? I guess we're in our astral projection pajamas. Here we appear to be on the opposite side of a totem, and it looks like it'll make a bridge here so we can get down there. Ugh, this episode again? Another rerun. Do kids know what reruns are these days? Right, so we're gonna need to blow out all the lights, then turn on the bridge, and I think that some of the birds around here will probably not like getting the lights turned out. But hey, this looks like an elevator down to the pier. Shortcut unlocked. Let's see if we can try and find another burn slide reel room. Each of these slide reels seem to contain information about the codes of each seal. In this one, somebody hands off the codes and they go to the rock and roll spooky house and walk right through the fireplace. It looks like it was in the shaded woodlands, so we'll go in the river lowlands entrance. And I think we have an idea about how to take care of them birds. First, we create a boat shortcut, and then head to another fire to sit at. Let's go to Cinder Isles / Starlit Cove. And we're gonna head to the Hidden Gorge. The green fire here to fall asleep at is the only one on stable ground that won't be interrupted by the dam at any point. Now we just have to get to that boat. Bridge. Elevator. Now that we're back in the shaded woodlands, we just need to find that spooky house. We end up in the subterranean area of this dark world, and there are numerous archive reels to watch. Damn. Even the codes in this dark world are burnt. Well, I guess we'll watch movies. This slide reel we've actually seen before, but some of the slides were burned. We'll get the full story this time. Then we have a slide that looks to be some sort of error report. When we go into tunnels on the boat in the dark world, something actually loads. Okay. Pretty big information there. So the slide reels we got from the burned film rooms give us hints to find some more important locations within the dark world. Let's try to find this part of the Hidden Gorge and blow the lights out. This is looking like it's going to be a stealth mission. Well, no more movie night for our friend here. Another similar slide reel to before, when they're overcome with sadness from losing their homeworld. But this time, we can see what they did afterwards. Another bug report shows one of the elks walking around and dropping its lantern, and then walking away. Let's see what happens when we try that. The Owlkin created a simulated version of their old homeworld. Even after death, their consciousness lives on here. Ghosts in the machine. While we're in simulation vision, we actually see some bridges that weren't here before. Unfortunately, yet another code is not here. Going Matrix mode in the Endless Canyon actually shows us a secret bridge. This was probably kind of a developer bridge that they used in the simulation to fix things. It's a shortcut to the boat. 2 burned slide reels down, 1 to go. Ooh. In this slide reel, we see them in the burned down Church of the Eye in Starlit Cove. This Alk is delivering the codes to another Alk. And once he runs off, this one goes back, but turns right and warps up to a room where they can turn the lights off in the whole town, allowing this one to get past the statue alarm. Another stealth mission. Why'd it have to be stealth missions? Luckily, we can take a little sneak peek. And we can actually see the cone of vision of the alarm, but our bigger problem is going to be the Alks, who'd probably run amok once we turn the lights out. The hunting party's out. And the dam's busted. This'll be fun. Oh. Oof, ouch, my bones. Let's go. need to buy more time. So if we disable the Ash Twin project, we could just stay in the Stranger forever, right? Make the pier appear. Blow out the lights. Because this tower eventually falls into the water, we gotta make sure we're on stable ground. The Hidden Gorge is the only place where green fire does not get swallowed up by water. Now that we parked our body at the Hidden Gorge, we're just waiting for Starlit Cove to fall, killing the spirits of these Alokin. Yeah, how you like it? We gotta go. Alright, we made it down into some other room with 2 elk guards. But the Cinder Isles tower just fell into the water, but technically, the Ash Twin project won't recall us, so we should have a bit more time to get this done. Movie night times 3. Another reel we've seen before, this time with no burn marks. After foreseeing their destruction, they built a device that would block the signal from the eye so nobody else would find it, before cloaking and going to sleep in their simulation. Here we see that green flames have a bubble of influence where it's possible to enter the simulation. Death was avoided. And it looks like we've got another bug report. This one has to do with the alarms that ring bells and yoink us from the simulation. But when you're dead, how you gonna wake up dead? You don't. Well, we found a lot. All that's left is the vault. The bells can't wake the dead. Now with our physical body dead, we are the ghosts that knock. we fell into the center of the subterranean lake. It connects each of the 4 simulated areas of the stranger. The 3 archives are here, as well as the sealed vault. We got a Truman Show wall here. You know what we gotta try. Right. Back to our breaking and entering business. That's 1 seal down using the loading zone rule. Each of the 3 archives showed us a bug report, and it seems that we need to apply those concepts here to unlock each seal. Sorry, fellas. We're heavy sleepers. The only rule we haven't used now is the simulation view. Knock knock. inhabitants of the Stranger followed the eye's signal and found the eye. After foreseeing the death of the universe, they built a signal blocker to keep others away from it. They lived the rest of their days in a simulation of the homeworld they destroyed to get here. But one of them left their slumber to free the eye's signal, even just for a moment. For this betrayal, they were imprisoned in both reality and consciousness, forever. The signal traveled through the universe for millennia until it was received by Dark Bramble. The signal bounced around the Bramble's dimensions, the echoes of the eye. The Bramble somehow came to this solar system, and at some point, the eye's signal made it out. This time, the signal was received by the Nomai. They warped to the ancient signal, crashing into Dark Bramble, barely surviving. Dedicating their lives to finding the eye of the universe, the Nomai left a framework behind for us, a Hearthian, to find the eye at the end of the world. These Nomai messages are recent. They determined that the universe is dying. Many Nomai clans are planning to meet up in the Blackrock system of the Gloaming Galaxy. They seem unsure how to survive and are dodging multiple supernovae. They're gathering together for a best chance at survival. It was in this room that the Nomai encountered the eye's signal. The leader of the tribe, Eskal, prepared for warp immediately. They didn't send out an outgoing message on where they were going because they thought the signal would disappear as suddenly as it appeared. Here it looks like a moon-sized chunk is missing. How very quantum of it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider sharing it with a memory friend. Special thanks to the patrons who made this video more possible than ever before, such as Haliomorpha, JW, Jordan Rowe, and Uninvited Haggis. They've been master tier for a while. It's a legit Sith Council. We've got more videos in the works. See y'all soon. Peace.